Hey guys, we're down here in Southern Ohio in these nice freezing Ohio temperatures at Crawford County Sportsman's Club. I'm here with my man Devin from Specter Solutions. In this video, we're going to be touching on things that are more trading focused with night vision, and we're going to touch on some questions that are also like good for beginners. After we finish up these questions, we're going to kind of go into a crawl, walk, run with training under night vision. So we're going to, just do basic movement with a rifle, pistol, reloads, and then we'll kind of get into more advanced stuff, longer strings of fire, more movement involved, things like that. Myself and Devin have a lot of time under night vision, both professionally and just in training environments. Corey is kind of like our litmus test here. He just got his night vision, he's very new to it. So we're gonna see like putting someone who is a good shooter under night vision, what happens to their skill set, and he's just gonna be kind of like our guinea pig for that. So if you guys feel like you're walking kind of in the same path as me and Corey in terms of your shooting journey, you guys are gonna probably be able to get an idea of what's gonna happen to your skill level with when you throw your nods on.
A little bit about me. From Ohio, started off in LEO, went private sector. So that's what I do now is primary. And I started Specter Solutions for the community, push out night vision at a decent price, knowledge for free. And also a big hit right now is our Specter night matches that we host in Ohio and a little bit outskirts in Pennsylvania, Michigan, and hopefully Indiana and Kentucky eventually. I'm excited to be here and kind of give you guys everything that I've absorbed through training with some of the best that have done stuff overseas, private sector, law enforcement, you name it, and trying to just give back to the community and help you guys out.
All right, let's get in this first question here. Is night vision necessary or needed? Do I need to drop $4 grand? Do I need to drop 10 grand? Do I need to get quads? What's the deal?
So, yes and no. If you have a good foundation and you're at a point to where you're pretty solid on your fundamentals, make the expense and buy a superpower. A lot of people talk about budget. A lot of people talk about, I don't know what to spend. At the end of the day, it's a superpower. You're gonna be able to see at night. Yes, you have a flashlight, but that's only gonna do so much. And sometimes you don't want your flashlight on, which we can go into eventually.
Absolutely. I think it 100% depends on how serious you are with your kit. If you're definitely fundamentally squared away, I think night vision can be a force multiplier for your kit. There are people that just obviously enjoy the sport of shooting who are not into this type of thing and they think it's a little bit unnecessary. More power to them, totally fine. I've used mine a handful of times law enforcement side, but it's mostly just been with training so far. I think they are a benefit to law enforcement, benefit to people who are in the training aspect, and like prepper, survival types 100%. And like you said, it's a superpower at night, dude. Why would you not want to be able to see at night?
Yeah.
So.
You can literally be Batman.
Yep. Literally be Batman. When do you think it's time to start considering night vision for your kit? Like, is this the guy who's like just getting into shooting and he wants to have everything set out and ready for him? Or is it the guy who's gone, a decent way through his shooting journey, has a couple classes under his belt? What's the situation with that?
A good question, and that gets asked a lot. You need, like I said, have a good foundation of what you're running and your kit. And it's also mission set. What I mean by that is, what are you gonna be doing? If you don't have access to an area that allows you, if you're not doing stuff that you need to see better at night and kind of stealthy in a way, there's not really any reason to have night vision. But if your mission set is with military, law enforcement, private, or even hunting, you're a farmer trying to protect your livestock. If you're Border Patrol is a really good example. Right now, they need night vision pretty bad for observing and hunting coyotes. So it depends on what the mission set is and what you're gonna be doing with it. If you're just gonna be going to the range, it's flat range, you just shoot during the day and you enjoy that, you're not gonna shoot at night and you don't have access, it's not really any reason. But if you're in the other categories, definitely start looking into it if you have a solid foundation of marksmanship and mechanics with what you're running.
So like I said before, I've used mine in law enforcement. I also believe like as a prepared citizen, I think it's an important piece of kit to have. Would you also agree that's like a good reason to have if you're just a prepared citizen?
Absolutely.
You want to be ready for anything type stuff?
Absolutely. Prepper, if you will.
Yep. That's fine. I think this is also a good question because there's a constant pissing test between like white light and night vision. Which one's better? What does night vision accomplish that we're not getting with white light?
So night vision accomplishes being stealthy. When you emit your light, it's gonna indicate where you are to whatever's going on, whether it be the enemy, if you wanna put that in perspective. You don't want the enemy to see you, you kinda wanna have the jump on them. So if you have night vision, you're gonna be able to maneuver, you're gonna be able to walk around in a way to where it's not gonna show yourself. Hunting is a big deal. Sometimes engaging your white light onto an animal or by an animal, it might stop it, it might startle it. With night vision or thermal, it's not gonna happen. You're gonna be able to have a nice target acquisition on that thing.
Yeah, 100%. White light discipline's a thing, especially law enforcement, military, more so military than anything else.
One of the pros and cons. So pros of night vision, it shows more depth perception, allows you to see a bigger field depending on what device you have. And with white light, you're only going to see, depending on what the lumens and the throw is of that light, that circle of light. So if you shine that light in that area, that's all you're going to see. With night vision, you're going to see a little bit more in your peripheral and straightforward.
It can also, so like the other thing is too, is I'm not sure if you've ever used it like this. A big advantage in night vision, it can be a communication device, especially if you're working with the team. If you have IR lasers and such, you can lasso a location so people can find out where you're at. Also, CQB situations and such, you can communicate with your laser, like doors, obstructions, something you see that's funky in the room but you don't want to necessarily say anything or go on comms for. You can highlight with your laser. You can't obviously do it with a white light because for obvious reasons you're just going to light up an entire room, give away any type of drop you have on whatever it is you're doing.
Absolutely.
So do you think you should have a particular skill set and or be at a certain place in your shooting journey before acquiring night vision?
It honestly just depends on what you're doing. You can buy night vision and not shoot at all. A lot of people use it for star watching, astrology, if you will. Night hikes. If you like to go hiking and you're like, man, I don't like hiking at night, especially with the light. Some people can see me, I can only see a little bit. Well, if you have night vision on hiking, it opens up a whole new world. So you don't necessarily have to be shooting. But if you're gonna be shooting with night vision, make sure you're proficient or comfortable with your setup before going into that realm. It does get a little different. Not a huge amount changes with night vision, but a couple things do. And one of those is depth perception. If you're stumbling around on a flat range with your kit already and you can't do too much, you're just not there, and you probably shouldn't buy night vision.
Yeah, that is like one of the unfortunate things with this, and you've probably experienced this with night shoots sometimes. Just because you have $20,000 in kit doesn't necessarily mean you have $20,000 in skill. So biggest mistake you see up front when people making night vision, so whether that's like they just want to go all in on a $12,000 unit, screw the single tube, I want dual tubes and white phos, like where do you think that's like the biggest mistake people make?
They'll buy the device and they don't know how to turn it on. They don't have a helmet, they don't have a mount.
Lack of training.
Yes,
Okay.
lack of training. They get ahead of themselves, that's what it is.
Okay.
We live in a world where research is literally free. Research will help you out and figure out what you need. A lot of people will buy before they even know, or they get peer pressured into buying. I get it all the time. People will text, hey, I received the device. Awesome, man, how is it? I can't turn it on, how do I turn it on? So I have to help them out, which is fine, that's cool. But a lot of people, they just need to do the research and figure out if that's what they want.
Well, okay, so for those that are watching or looking at night vision, you definitely should know what you're getting into. Don't just drop 5 figures on something you have no idea what you're doing. It's just like you shouldn't be buying a gun if you don't know how to use a gun.
Exactly, it's with anything.
Yeah. All right, so next question we're gonna hop into is range availability. Like, would it make sense to only buy night vision if you have access to use them at night? Or, I mean, do you think that's hogwash? Like, where do you think you can go with that?
So if you don't have access to use them, if there's not a range, private land, anywhere where you can actually use them, this is like shooting scenario or practicing your marksmanship skills, there's probably no reason for you to get those because you're gonna spend $4,000 to $15,000 depending on what you wanna get. And if you buy that, it's gonna be a paperweight. You probably do the dishes, walk your dog, make a sandwich, read a book, play catch with yourself. But at the end of the day, if you can't do what you want with them at a place that allows that, it's not worth it. If you're gonna buy it, and you're not gonna have a chance to improve yourself with it, just like anything else, don't put yourself in a situation where you're like, oh, I need this, and you don't know how to use it. It's just like anything else, so put in the time. But if you're in the Ohio area, there are night shoots all around you in North and South and Central Ohio. Specter night shoots are probably once a month, once every other month. There's also other locations that host them, and there are ranges where you don't need a suppressor. There's a handful of people that don't have suppressors still. So if you don't have one, you can come, run your kit, run your white light, try before you buy, see what other people are running. It's a good chance to kind of dive into a bunch of questions and figure out if it's right for you. And you can have fun and shoot under night vision at a place that allows that. And another place is Crawford County here. And
I host them with my company, Redline Consulting. We do them at Ben Franklin Range and Southington Hunt Club. It's in Garrettsville, Ohio. It's like Northeast Ohio, kind of like near Youngstown. Whenever I say Youngstown, most people know where that's at. The biggest thing I always see with the events like this is the wake up moment people have. They are like, okay, I got way too much kit on. It turns into like a garage sale, like all their stuff falling off, you know, suppressors flying down range because this is like their first time using it in 6 months, or their nods, they bought the Chinese mount off Amazon, it's falling off. So like while the night shoot is not like per se a training event, depending on where your skill level is at,
Right.
it's definitely a good testament for your gear and a good idea to get where like, to get the feel of shooting under nods and moving under nods. All right, so now like hopping into more like the night vision specific. So this is like a very common question.
Okay.
Dual tube or single tube? Big pissing contest there.
Yeah, absolutely. Budget is a big issue with that. So if all you got's a couple grand, get you a 14 and train. With the night matches and other training, I've seen guys run a PVS 14 with a full length rifle and beat other individuals that have $15,000 duels, lasers and all that. And they're just running passive and all they have is a 14 and using their natural night vision and a single tube. So at the end of the day, it goes back to training. So training and budget and what you're looking to do with your kit. A 14 is lightweight. It's you can store it really anywhere. You can put it in your pocket. Duels, about as big as, a little bit bigger than a phone now. And depending on if they articulate or not, they could be even bigger. So it depends on what your kit is and what you're gonna do with it and how much you can afford.
Okay, I think our next appropriate thing to hop into is white phos or green phos.
Perspective and personal choice at the end of the day. So if you're colorblind like me, yep, I'm one of those. Red, green, blue, it sucks. Contrary to belief, white phos is better for me for contrast reasons. If I do green, it doesn't look right for me and it gives me a headache. White phos long term, I've noticed I don't get tension headaches. My brain's not fried. With green, personally, that happens with me. It's preference.
Yeah,
honestly.
I think green looks way more like combed over. Everything almost looks the same. Like you said with white phos, it's like a little bit more contrasty. Blacks stick out a lot more. Things seem to be outlined more, in my opinion. I had a green phos PVS 14 when I was in the military, and now I'm obviously running dual tubes that are white phos. Night and day difference for me. Obviously, there are many differing opinions on that.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
how important is it to get caught up in tube specs? And like, as you know, sells night vision. Like you can either get like etc tube at this price point, or you can get this, you know, SWAT Jesus tube at a way bigger price point.
Yeah.
So,
a lot of people get caught up in generation. We'll start there. So Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3, there's not a lot of Gen 1s out there, but there are. They're pretty blown out. But Gen 2 and Gen 3, there's a big misconception. Gen 2 is where you kind of want to stop. If it's a Gen 2 plus, which that is a thing, that's when you start looking at specs. If you have a Gen 3 L-bit tube and it has really, really low specs, you could have a solid Gen 2 plus tube with really good specs, and it's almost the same. The resolution is only gonna go so far on a Gen 2 plus. With the L-bit and Gen 3, that's kind of like where it shines, but is it worth thousands of dollars? That's when you gotta think about. So at the end of the day, it goes back to money and what you're gonna use them for. If you're gonna be in a really, really low light, that's when you gotta be looking at, all right, I'm gonna be in a low light environment. Gen 3 is probably better because it has better performance. Should I go with a higher spec because I'm gonna be in a woods or warehouses running them with no light? There's barely any ambient light. That's when you're gonna have to start thinking about the generations. But focus on specs, FOM, SNR, EBI, Halo, all that.
like, since we're kind of already on that topic, so like, what company is offering the best tube specs right now, and why is it L3? I'm just kidding. But people who know what I'm talking about will get that joke. But
Yeah.
is it L3 though?
Yeah. So the big competitors right now are L3 top, L-bit obviously. There's different models for these as well. So it's not just L-bit, it's just one streamline. There's XLSH, there's PH, there's a bunch of acronyms. There's NMVTs, there's Photonus. Those are the big four right now.
Yeah, I feel like in the last like 2 years, a ton of night vision companies have surfaced.
Which is good, yeah. Because it makes, I like competition, especially in this type of industry, because innovation happens.
Well, it's also brought it into a more affordable category for people too.
Exactly, a lot of people are getting into it.
It's been a good thing for sure. So if you don't have a range available to train with your nods, like you mentioned night walks earlier.
Yeah.
You said an assortment of other things, but.
Yeah, so this training tool too. So if you're just like, man, it's -10 out, I don't want to go to the range, I just kind of want to stay at home. Read a book, that'll help with depth perception. Toss a ball to yourself, tennis ball, play catch with your dog. Make the bed, do normal task with wear and everything so you get used to it. Walk. I know it's weird, it sounds cliche. Walk, it's the same thing. Get used to it. The depth perception is a little different, and you'll see. And at a certain point, you'll be able to play catch with your friends under night vision that have night vision, hopefully. Hopefully you're not a loner. If you are, come out to the night match and we'll help you out.
It's all right. Come out, party with the homies.
But yeah, just normal day tasks. Don't overthink it. Read a book, start drawing. If you draw with them.
Yeah, I think movement's the biggest thing. If you can't do like any serious training under your night vision, movement is one thing to me that sticks out hardcore. Shooting is shooting at the end of the day, like finding your apex in your draw and such like that, finding your sights, being able to find laser. Shooting isn't that bad or not, it's the actual movement portion that's very difficult because of the depth perception issues.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, dry firing at the end of the day.
Just like in the basement,
yeah,
at night type of thing.
Right.
Okay. So guys, like one of the first things we're probably gonna touch on in the training portion, we're gonna like crawl, walk, run in a sense, right? So we're gonna go through just kind of basic mechanics, like drawing, shooting, reloads, touch on stuff like that. And probably a good chunk of the video in terms of training portion is gonna be movement. As we kind of crushed on in these earlier questions, like that's one of the hardest things to do under night vision because instead of having all this peripheral vision without night vision on, now when you throw tubes down, you got like, what, 100 degrees max maybe in terms of vision?
Depends on the device. 50 degrees, if you got duels, unless you got boom slang, shout out to Photonus, they have a 60 degree. It's pretty sick. And if you have a mono, you're sitting at like 40.
I think a big thing that's obviously very important with night vision is getting it set up beforehand. Obviously you don't want to hit the range and just start shooting and your stuff's out of focus, no batteries in your lasers, etc. I think a very obvious good thing to do up front is focus your night vision properly. Whatever distance it is you want, I typically just choose 25 yards. I think that's like the best all around for most flat range purposes. You obviously want to do a lights laser systems check. And I'll kind of hand it over to Devin here to maybe do a little bit more in depth or whatever your personal opinion is, by all means express it.
It depends on kit, starting with the nods. If you got a 14 or duels, it don't matter. You're gonna do the front diopter first. A lot of guys forget about this. Don't keep both eyes open. If you're gonna do the right side, close your left eye, focus on that right side, vice versa. Do the front side first, put it down. And what I like to do, since I have the adjustable irises, I'll open them all the way up. I'll actually look at a star and focus it. And when it's focused on that star, I'll rotate and do the other side. And then if I need to do the back of it, which is the magnification of how close you want that image, I go to just about -2 on mine. And if you have night vision, you understand what that is. And if you don't, it's just the magnification. It's almost maxed out. And then I close my irises, depending on ambient light, either natural or artificial that's out, and make sure it's not fuzzy, and that's it. That's how I focus my night vision. After the night vision's focused, you wanna focus on the optic, depending on what you have. Some optics have night vision setting, some don't. If yours doesn't, just put on the lowest setting. As long as you have a quality tube, Gen 2 plus and above, you're not gonna have that burn into it. And if you do, for some reason, some tubes do it, it's just a temporary burn. The photocappings will reset themselves if you black box it, which that's for a whole nother video. But right now I have a T2. I actually don't use the night vision setting. Just experience for me personally, I like to have that viz setting just in case these do go down or I don't need to use my night vision. I have to look under my tubes, which is the thing. I like to have it on setting 2, visual. For nighttime like this, that's fine. If I have to look under, I'm gonna be able to identify target and wherever that dot is, pull the trigger. But if I'm running nods, it's not very bright, it's not starbursting, it's not nothing like that. Corey has Vortex Viper. Does that have night vision?
No, it does not. It's on the lowest setting.
Perfect.
And it seems to be working really good, so.
Awesome, and that's what we want.
Yeah.
So don't forget about your optic, because if you put your nods down and you go to passive aim, oh boy, it might be a starburst and you're kind of blind yourself if it's maxed out.
All right, so we're gonna hop into our first drill here. Devin, go ahead and give a rundown what we're gonna go through real quick.
Yeah, it's just basic warm up, nothing crazy. It's just your typical, I call it a workup. Honestly, there's nothing crazy about it. So basically you do 3 passive, 3 with your nods, laser, and that's it. So we'll get into it, see how Corey
We'll
does.
go from the high ready, low ready, stuff like that. We'll work different positions, because another thing we're all gonna have to work around tonight is we're wearing kit. For those of you that are into that type of training, your mount, the mount meeting your body to rifle connection can change depending on what kit you're running. As a prime example, my vest I wear for duty, my mount 100% changes with my rifle because the Kevlar comes almost all the way out to my shoulders. Thankfully, I don't experience that because I'm just wearing plates here, but for some of us, we might experience those issues tonight, so you guys get to see us work around that. So my goal at a target of 25 yards is always to be under 1 second, whether it's from low ready or high ready. So these few beeps he's giving me, my goal is to be under a second. Passive, it's gonna be the same way. I want it to be under a second. All right, so we'll go low ready laser first, then we'll go to high ready.
5-9.
Okay.
7-4.
All right, let's go high ready.
8-5. 8-4.
All right, we'll go 2 passive.
7-1. 6-7.
7-3. Let's do it again. Low ready laser. Stand by. All right, 7-3 again. So now we're gonna go high ready laser. 9-3. Good. Let's do it again. Stand by. 8-6.
That was low.
1-5-6 with a makeup. Okay, now let's go passive. Okay, 9-5. What'd you see on that one? Where's your dot? Was it an alignment issue or are you just marksmanship wise?
It was on target, but I probably pulled it.
Okay, cool.
I'll take that one.
That was 8-8. All right,
shooting
sick.
left.
We're gonna have Corey hop in next. This is gonna be kind of his first time pushing performance under nods, so you guys are gonna be able to see that for the first time.
Nice. 113. 9-5.
Let's go high ready. Go high ready. Here we go. Tuck the stock under your armpit.
You ready?
Yep.
Stand by. One, two, two.
Oh yeah, you can get under a second for sure.
You ready?
Yep.
Stand by. 9-5.
9-5. All right.
All right, we're going to passive now.
So low ready, but you're gonna be looking through your optics, so passive.
You ready?
Yep.
Stand by. 2-3-1 with a miss.
As you guys are probably seeing, I have a 193 mount. Devin, you have a 226, right?
Correct.
Okay. So when we're shooting passive with optics and you have a higher mount, I'm not going to sit here and say it's like the key. It definitely helps a little bit. Corey has what, a lower 1/3 or co-witness?
I think it's a lower 1/3.
Yeah,
yes.
lower 1/3. That's probably as low as you want to go as if you're running with nods. There's ways around this and such, but it kind of interferes depending on what your mount is. And the more you train with it, obviously, it's not like it's completely not doable. Let's just make that really, really clear. You don't need a 193. You don't need a 226. You don't need a unity mount. It just makes things a little bit easier. As you guys are probably seeing, there's a little bit of an alignment issue you have to build when you're going passive with nods, and it just makes it a tiny bit harder when you don't have that higher mount.
You ready?
Yep.
Stand by.
Yeah,
Nice.
that optic is weird.
286.
Yeah.
What's past my optic is so washed out, like I'm getting a glare. I don't know if it's from that.
He's probably getting backsplash.
Yeah, it's on the lowest
Let me
setting.
go down one more.
I was gonna say, because that's the other thing is too, if it might not be NV rated. That's also a thing.
A little bit.
Okay.
Try again.
All right, let's try it again.
102.
Yeah.
113.
Go ahead, do it again.
116.
Okay, so now this next 2 reps, try to push for under a second. So build the alignment quicker. You're already in position, you have your mount secured. Just try to build it faster. Remember, bring the gun up to your face, don't bring your face to the gun.
You know what I'm struggling with here
Okay.
is kind of maneuverability. So it's really cold in Ohio right now. I've added a lot of layers, and bringing this gun up, about right here, I start feeling a lot of tension in all of the kit, all of the clothing. So it's really hard to bring that gun fully up into vision without kind of ducking my head.
Gotcha, okay.
Also skill based, right? Like this is something I'm not used to, so.
How do you feel about like alignment with your eye/tube versus the optic? Do you feel like that's also a challenge as well?
Yeah, I mean, it feels different than normal shooting. I'm finding myself fishing a little bit. I think it's because I'm doing 2 levels of movement. I'm bringing the gun up, and I'm trying to bring my head down because I have these limiting factors.
Okay, now do
You know, if I was running a t-shirt and it was warm in Ohio, might be a little easier.
Different, yeah. So if we're talking like body to rifle connection, do you feel like the plate carry is getting in the way at all?
I can't really pull it into my body great.
The reason why we're asking these questions and he's going into detail like this is like really good stuff to keep in mind, especially when you're training in full kit. Obviously, we want to be able to shoot performance-based when we're in full kit. We want to be able to still perform well, still put bullets quickly where you want them to go and obviously accurately. Amount when it comes to the grip with a rifle is a huge portion, a huge thing to keep in mind. And if you cannot do it quickly and repeatably, obviously it's going to mess up your shooting, it's going to mess up your time, it's going to mess up your speed, possibly even your accuracy. I mean, these are things to keep in mind. And you're mostly, like when you say with your training, would you say you're mostly pistol based than rifle based?
100%. Yeah.
Okay. These are good things to keep in mind. 100%.
Yeah. I mean, this is definitely a me thing. I'm not blaming kit. You know, this is where my experiences falter. So doing this while under night vision is just amplifying the hard, I think.
Cool. All right, that's a good way to put it, amplifying the hard. So we're gonna run high ready, passive. This is difficult for multiple reasons. One, because the body to rifle connection is already not in place as it would be as a low ready. Where from low ready, my stock's pretty much already set in my shoulder. All I have to do is at that point, bring the weapon system up to my eye. With high ready, we have to build everything quickly and obviously repeatably. All right, let's send it. 119.
109.
It's kind of funny, I'm faster high ready,
Yeah.
but I find myself not having as hard of a time picking up that dot. I don't know why. Does it make sense?
Yeah, so like from what I'm observing, when you go from low ready, I could 100% see you bringing your head to the gun way more. For whatever reason with high ready, you're just keeping your head flat level where it should be, focused on target, and you're bringing the rifle up to it, which is exactly how it should be. Yeah. So that's probably why we're seeing the differential in times.
Why would I be doing it better high ready, which is quote unquote a little bit harder, a little bit slower than low ready? What would cause that disconnect? What do you think it would be?
You have the gun in high ready, so you already have all that tension in your kit, tension in your shoulder, or tension in your jacket and stuff. From low ready, you're feeling that tension come up as you come from low ready. That just probably explains why you're scrunching your neck a little bit as well.
Yeah, I mean, that tracks.
Maybe keep your left elbow down and in.
Like this?
Yep. Good correction. All right, so we're gonna hop in a little bit more flow-based stuff. We're gonna hop into reloads. This is a very good thing for under night vision for obvious reasons. One, because 9 times out of 10 you're wearing nods, you need to reload, you cannot see your mag well at all. You pretty much have to go off based off training and experience to be able to do it quickly and efficiently and repeatably. Devin, go ahead and hop into what we're gonna be doing.
Yeah, so we're gonna jump in the reloads. Reloading under nods, like Jake was saying, it's either get in the mag well or it doesn't, and you just fiddle with it. So it's about mechanics. So that goes back to, do you have a solid foundation? So we're gonna do 1, reload 2. So you're gonna run dry, gonna have a reload, and then send 2 more rounds.
We also have a little bit of ambient light here, obviously, so the camera can pick us up. That's gonna give us a slight bit of advantage. We suggest when you guys are practicing this, try it in ambient conditions, also try it in pitch black conditions.
So if you don't have to do a tactical reload, we got mags flying, and you're just doing a typical, like you've got behind cover, or everything's done, you're loading up. You wanna make sure that you actually have a bullet seated into your weapon. A good feeler with night vision is physical touch. So you're gonna touch the mag and feel where the bullet is on what side, left or right. Insert the mag, bolt goes home, eject that mag and feel. If the bullet is on the opposite side from when it went into the platform, you're good to go. There's a bullet in there. We're gonna do the high ready, low ready as well. We're gonna shoot 1 round, gonna go empty, shoot 2. Jake's cheating, and he's got a flared mag well.
Oh, come on.
Just kidding. That's not cheating, that's recommended.
You got a valid point. It's all right.
Especially in the cold like this, your fine motor skills are almost gone. So any small task is pretty tedious.
Yeah, this is not gonna be pretty, but we're gonna send it.
All right, shooter ready?
Yep.
Stand by. .469, fumbled it a little bit.
Yeah, I could definitely feel the call a little bit of fumbling. I'm doing my best to look at my mag well because we have this ambient light. At the same time, I'm also going off training experience and going by feel.
That's a 5.88 with a miss.
All right, we'll go from high ready for these next 2. Now guys, I will say with reloads, I am kind of a stickler. I do not like doing like low round count reloads. That being said, we're trying to be a little bit more economical based here. We're set at 50 cents a round. I think it's perfectly okay for us to do a 1 reload 2. If you're really trying to test your fundamentals, you're really trying to test your grip, it's very important you maybe do like a 3 reload 3 or a 5 reload 5 or something along that nature. A big problem with reloads that people experience a lot is you change your mount or you change your grip in some way, shape, or form. That's not repeatable. Oh, all right.
That was my fault, 688. I'll take blame for that. I got too close. I'm trying to get warm.
No, it's all right. I actually have to change things a little bit up because my hands are so cold. I have to like change. I actually have to bring the rifle out of the mount to push my finger up against the button.
He's a wrong-handed shooter, that's the problem.
On top of being left-handed, yeah.
All right, let's get a good go. Triple six. I'm not gonna say that.
666. That's totally not good luck.
Nope, not at all.
All right, give me a second for my hands because they're getting worse as we go through this.
So yeah, if you're training just in fair weather, you're doing yourself a disservice. You need to expose yourself to all or most conditions. Obviously, some people have medical conditions, so maybe they can't do everything. But if you can train in almost every condition and figure out what gear works, how your hands work, manipulation, even with night vision, like the cold will affect it, rain will affect it. Rifles, platforms, conditions, depending on what it is, will affect all your kit and yourself. Our fine motor skills are gone. I'm literally squeezing this mic.
Yeah.
That way I don't drop it.
Yeah, that last rep, really sloppy. My mount was actually on my plate carrier itself. For the actual reload, I normally use my left index finger to send the bolt hole forward. I can't even feel it right now. So I had to go with where I know the ambi release is on this Radian Mod 1 on the right-hand side of the rifle and send it home with my thumb because I can feel both my thumbs right now. This is just stuff you kind of experience and find out when you're training in weather like this, in conditions like this.
Which we recommend.
Yeah. All right, Corey, you're up, big guy. We'll do 1 reload 2, low ready with laser. All right, sick. 684, the first I can tell you, let the mag drop, don't rip the mag out.
Okay.
As long as you keep the gun horizontal with the earth, the gun will drop free, or the mag will drop free.
Ah.
All right, 595. Actually, you were quicker on that one, I think.
I think it's because I let it drop, even though I butched. I had a hard time finding the mag well. I actually had to look under my nods.
That's
and
definitely
see, yeah.
100% a thing, absolutely.
I guess this comes down to training, muscle memory, reloads from the belt. You know, my level of expertise in this is very low. Most of my training is daylight shooting with handguns. I'm the perfect person to kind of show the failures you're gonna have if you don't train with night vision.
Let's go ahead and set you up for high ready now. All right.
Helps if you hit the target.
634 with 3 mics. .463. That was a good run.
Improving. Honestly, this gun is very heavy up front. This homemade can, I find tucking it under, I just have less strain on my arms.
Okay,
and I can come back and be accurate. Because if I try to manhandle it up here, I know if I come back on target, I'm gonna be shaky and shit after a while.
I think there were a few I tucked or at least pulled the rifle off the side. It's also a stability thing because like I really cannot feel my hands right now, so I don't have the same tension, the same strength. And when you're able to kind of like release some of that tension by tucking the buttstock underneath your armpit, it makes things a little bit easier.
Yep.
We're not just like out here in summertime doing sub-second reloads and stuff, so.
It took a long time to find that optic.
724, it's about 3 to 4 seconds slower than his previous runs.
All right, I think I can speed that up though.
Guys, this is a thing with night vision and working with kit. Like your mount's gonna change, your buttstock to body connection might change. You're not gonna have the same, shoulder pocket, or sometimes people put it in their chest plate available to you when you have a plate carrier on over top of that.
Basically what this is your natural point of aim. So when you close your eyes and you bring that rifle up and then you open, that's where your body and your mind thinks, all right, this is where it should be. And if it's off, there's some things that you can mitigate to change that to make sure it's on.
I think that stock placement's really messing me up with this plate carrier. I have very little time behind a rifle compared to my pistol, even less time in a plate carrier, and even less time in night vision. So we're kind of stacking my lack of skill and making it significantly harder.
If you're new to this stuff, there's some exploring has to happen. You have to experience failure in order to obviously exceed and get better in training. This is what we're going through right now. Not everybody just slaps on nods and is a grandmaster underneath them at night. There has to be a learning experience, there has to be failure, and you have to learn how to get through it, what changes you need to make, what changes you need to make to your kit, to your fundamentals, whatever it is. There it is, 696. All right.
So I noticed the mag did not want to drop free, so I had to rip. And then obviously follow-up shots weren't great, but the first presentation of that optic, I finally seen it. It felt more natural. I shifted the whole entire stock over. So I was kind of riding on my plate carrier. I kind of shifted it just a scotch over to hit my shoulder more than my plate carrier, and that kind of helped a little bit. Still some issues there to work through, but I think we're improving.
Okay, cool. All right, so we're kind of getting in our next series of drills here. These are gonna be a little bit more movement based. Again, guys, we are not doing anything complicated tonight. We're keeping everything very basic, very baseline.
Last couple drills are just gonna be what's called bounding. We're gonna put together a little bit of everything that you just saw: reloads, manipulation of the firearm, either high port, low port, and laser, passive. All of it's gonna be put together while moving, and we're gonna add a transition to pistol. When we talk about passive aiming, it comes with the pistol, and you either have to look through it with your tube or look under the tubes and find that dot. The first iteration of movement, we're gonna start in the middle glow stick. We're gonna do 3 on paper with rifle. We're gonna move to the left, transition to our pistol, and 5 on steel. Oh no, oh. Come on. Jeez.
All right, sweet.
Everything fails in the cold.
Yes, it does.
Nine through 7.
We're all experiencing issues in the cold tonight. We're running PMags, we're running Kydex holsters, plastic inserts in our mag holders and stuff. We're all experiencing issues. Plastic gets super rigid in the cold, it breaks, it gets fragile.
$11.66.
I feel like I should have did better with handgun. I could see the dot easily. It felt like shooting during the day. There really wasn't a big difference for me. So the fact that I was missing is a little upsetting. Rifle, smooth as butter that last run. It really wasn't hard with the laser. I guarantee if I went passive, I'd been a lot slower.
Right.
So, learned a lot.
Well, that's what we're gonna see. We're gonna go passive.
Okay, cool. Devin and Corey are loading up right now. The only thing we're gonna change up is going passive with our rifles instead of using our lasers. I do like to change it up a little bit. You don't wanna get too comfortable using only your laser. I think it's important to be able to go passive. I know there's a lot of controversy about which one's better or which one's more important or which one's a more useful skill to have. I don't really know if that stuff's really even a factor with night vision, but what I can tell you is it's important to know how to do both quickly and efficiently. $12.26.
Time, 13:20. $13:06. So our final drill, it's gonna put everything into one. It's a lot of movement. It's just the full bounding movement. We're gonna add reload the pistol and transitions when moving as well. So Corey here, he's gonna either choose passive or active. So he's gonna shoot through his optic or his laser. He's gonna shoot the paper targets, 3 per target with rifle. He's gonna shoot the poppers with his pistol, 1 round each or until it falls. Transition left and engage that steel with 2 hits. He's gonna bound all the way to the right, doing a reload and engage a circular steel target with 5 rounds with a pistol. You ready?
That's a lot. Let's do it.
Let's put it all together. Nice. 27:11.
I noticed with running, my nod's kind of falling down. So I don't know if you noticed, I had to push them up. I think a counterweight's gonna help a lot with that. And then, you know, can't feel your fingers trying to hold a rifle and a handgun while running and do a reload. It was a lot. I think it was a really cool drill, and I'm glad I did okay.
Yeah, you did good. Putting it all together, guys, you can see you got to test everything out. Thank you. You got to test everything out. You don't know what's going to work, what's not going to work. Get some things to work on. We got some things breaking because of the cold. We got some things not working. Our hands. Whatever your kit is, night vision, white light, just run it. Run it in every condition. Train, even if it's dry firing, 10 minutes a day.
All right, total time, 30:54.
Terrible. $23.87.
Cannot feel my fingertips at all. No such thing as prepping a pistol trigger when you can't feel your fingers. I'm slapping it all the way through. It's showing results on target, as in not good results. Obviously, we all experience issues of some kind tonight, whether that was weather related or gear related. When it's very cold like this, your fine motor skills go completely out the window. That all being said, Corey is obviously very new to shooting under night vision, which is a whole other skill set of itself, in my opinion. Did you experience any deficiencies? Did you think anything translated from daylight to nighttime shooting?
Training wise, I had a really hard time passively looking through my dot. I think it just comes down to training. When I'm high ready and I present, I can find my dot easy. Low ready, I have a hard time. So I gotta work on that with training. Handgun wise, presenting and shooting was fine. I found that I could see the dot really easy. It felt like daytime shooting. But to Jake's point, my fingers are cold. They weren't working good. I was slapping the trigger. Accuracy was all over the place. So there's a little bit that can be done with better gear, better gloves, more winter training. And then with the rifle, obviously got to work on that passive. Using this kit during the day would have gave me a better hand during nighttime. At nighttime, everything just got harder. And I'm glad I came out tonight. I learned a lot. If you're going to spend the money on night vision, train with it at nighttime. Use your gear. If I would have came into tonight in a real world situation, had to use night vision, defending my home, you know, doing whatever I have to do with it, I would have probably fallen apart and had all kinds of issues. Probably got killed in the streets, if you want to call it that. So get out, use your gear, and, you know, learn from people that have used gear, go to these shoots, show some initiative, and I think it'll pay off big time.
Surround yourself with like-minded people, get training, whatever platform it is, white light, night vision, go out and test your stuff, find friends that have cool stuff, including superpowers, night vision. It's not hard to find places that allow you to do so. Like we said earlier, look up for it and you'll find it.
So if you guys made it to the end of the video, you're obviously very serious. Specter Solutions is going to be giving away a free bump helmet. There'll be a link in the description to Specter Solutions Instagram. Go over, find that pinned post, and comment Herrington Arms to be entered to win.
It's only going to run for a week when it's posted, so make sure you get those comments in. It's going to be a hard-headed veterans bump helmet. Your choice of color, your choice of size. I know some of you guys have big melons out there or a small head like me, so let's get you in one.
If you guys like this kind of content, drop a comment down below. Otherwise, we'll see you next time.